2020 BBY. As the Clone Wars rage on, the Separatist army focuses on tightening their grip on Republic supply routes. These routes are critical to the Republic war effort. Although heavily defended, the secession of one planet would put a very important Republic supply route in jeopardy. The resulting battle will be costly, bloody, and will rattle the trust within the Clone Army and foreshadow events to come at the end of the Clone Wars. Located in the galaxy's mid-rim, Umbara is a world completely devoid of sunlight. As a result, the plants and animals have evolved to create their own light, known as bioluminescence. Before the Republic, Umbara was cut off from the rest of the galaxy. This isolation caused the Umbaran people to create unique technology that is more advanced than most of the galaxy. The location of Umbara is of strategic importance to the Republic. The planet sits on the Great Kashyyyk branch, a hyperspace lane that crosses the galaxy and allows trade to worlds like Kashyyyk. Fortunately, Umbara has been a loyal member of the Republic for thousands of years. Now that is all changing. Senator Medici, the representative for the Umbaran people, has been assassinated on Coruscant. Outraged by his death, Umbara leaves the Republic and joins the CIS, which quickly sends a fleet to its new allies. Control of the Great Kashyyyk branch is now compromised. All Republic trading on the hyperspace lane grinds to a halt. The planet Kashyyyk suffers heavily and becomes so desperate that the Wookiee leaders consider joining the CIS to end the suffering of their people. The Republic must reopen the hyperspace lane and sends an invasion force to capture Umbara. The invasion consists of 4 battalions of clone troopers, including the 212th and the 501st. They will be carried and escorted by 3 acclimators and 3 venators. These men will be led by Jedi Generals Obi-Wan Kenobi, Anakin Skywalker, Pong Krell, and Sassy Tim. The invasion fleet enters the Umbaran system and engages the CIS warships. The acclimators advance to break through the CIS blockade. Alone, the acclimators would have difficulty. Fortunately, the Republic fleet is equipped with wings of Z-95 headhunters.
Me and the boys are ready to fly.
Although produced before the Clone Wars, the Z-95 Headhunter was well respected for its adaptability, endurance, and reliability. The Republic Navy model was 11.8 meters long and 18.12 meters wide, and was capable of speeds of up to 715 miles per hour. Equipped with 2 laser cannons, 2 concussion missile launchers, deflector shields, and a hyperdrive, the Z-95 was more than capable of dispatching droid starfighters. The Z-95 was a prolific starfighter that would see service far beyond the Clone Wars, It would even inspire the design of one of the most famous starfighters ever seen in galactic history. With the aid of the Z-95 pilots, the acclimators quickly break through the blockade and enter the atmosphere. Once in position, the acclimators drop their LEATs. To capture the planet, the clone army must take control of the Umbaran capital city. The city is surrounded by a defensive perimeter, but its primary defenses are located to the east and southeast in the form of 3 bunkers, codenamed Grek, Krill, and Usk. To the north, a ridge provides a natural defense line. Sassy Tin and Pong Krell will attack from the east and focus their forces on the bunkers. Obi-Wan Kenobi and the 212th will attack from the south and serve as the main siege force. Anakin Skywalker will lead the 501st from the north and attack the ridge. The LAATs fly towards the landing zones, but encounter stiff resistance from vehicles and artillery. One Umbaran vehicle quickly stands out for its devastating firepower, the UHT. The Umbaran hover tank is the first of a series of unique and deadly vehicles never before seen by the clone army. At 12.99 meters long and 6.03 meters tall, the Umbaran hover tank wielded 2 large electromagnetic plasma cannons that could kill a whole platoon of soldiers with a single blast. The UHT only had a single driver, who used a holographic projection display to move and fire. Although the UHT was incredibly effective, it was neither the biggest nor most powerful vehicle in the Umbaran arsenal, and was a terrifying introduction for the clone troopers.
Command post for the Republic.
With difficulty, the battalions in the east and south are able to land and unload their heavy equipment.
Got it. Getting out. Chase down that scout!
In the north, the 501st has a much easier time. This is because the 501st is equipped specifically for speed and is not mired down by heavy equipment. What the 501st does have in support is the quick and nimble AT-RT. Designed to transport troopers quickly and stealthily across the battlefield, The all-terrain recon transport was a favorite of both soldiers and commanders alike. At a length of 2.9 meters and a height of 3.2 meters, the ATRT was capable of moving 55 miles per hour and was armed with a repeating blaster cannon and a mortar launcher. Driven mostly by ARC troopers, the ATRT was unwieldy to the untrained soldier and was considered tacked more like a beast than a machine. What made the ATRT a favorite was the sensing equipment and motion detectors, which allowed the ATRT to automatically transmit nearby enemy positions to forward command centers. With a deadly combination of speed, maneuverability, and sensing equipment, the ATRT cemented its role as the preferred scouting vehicle of the Clone Army during the Clone Wars. Dropped from the rear of the LEATs, the ARF troopers launch an assault on the Umbaran front line. Using the ATRTs, the troopers quickly close the distance to the ridge, avoiding fire from the UHTs. The UHT is heavily armored in the front, but is vulnerable on the sides of its cannons, which the troopers exploit. The landing zone is quickly cleared, allowing the LAATs to land and disembark the 501st Infantry. Although the Umbarans have fortified the ridge well, they cannot hold against the 501st speed and superior numbers, and abandon their position. With the ridge in their control, the clones entrench themselves and wait for a counterattack. To the south, the 212 focuses on pushing towards the capital. In the east, Tins and Krell's forces launch their assaults on the three bunkers. The fighting is fierce, but the CIS and Umbaran forces begin to crumble. The defenders eventually abandon the bunkers and rout to the capital. Back on the northern flank, the 501st continues to wait for the Umbaran counterattack. While the clones rest, the Umbaran circle around the ridge and deploy millicreep droids. The droids begin killing clones and creating chaos. The Umbarans then launch their counterattack. Outfitted with helmets that pump a performance-enhancing gas, the Umbarans overwhelm the clone troopers. On the orders of General Skywalker and Captain Rex, the 501st moves back down the ridge while air support is called in. When the men are all clear, two Y-Wings execute a devastating bombing run on the ridge. The entire Umbaran counterattack is wiped out. As the 501st regroups, Skywalker is called back to Coruscant by Chancellor Palpatine. In his absence, General Pong Krell from the Eastern Front will take command of the 501st. During the war, General Krell enjoyed a reputation as a successful military commander from his many victories. He also had a reputation for having the highest clone casualty rate of any general in the Republic, and a dislike of clones. As his first order, Krell has the 501st march to the capital. Meanwhile, the other 3 battalions have completely cleared the eastern and southern fronts. They continue to prepare for the siege and wait for the 501st to get in position. After their long march in hostile terrain, the 501st reaches the capital. With their heavy vehicles and equipment, Kenobi and the 212th launched the main assault from the south, with Tin and the other 2 battalions supporting from the east. The 501st planned on attacking from the south, with many small surgical strikes to cause chaos in the capital's defenses. General Krell has a different idea. Rather than many surgical strikes, General Krell orders the 501st to march on the capital, down the main road. Despite protests from Captain Rex, the men of the 501st follow their orders. On the eastern and southern fronts, the main assault crashes against the Umbaran and CIS forces. They make little progress against the rigid defenses, and incur heavy casualties. Now on the main road, the 501st's forward platoon stumbles upon a minefield that kills 2 clone troopers. The Umbarans then launch an ambush.
Reinforcements are being depleted.
The clone troopers are caught out in the open, completely exposed.
This area is almost secure. Keep it up.
Unable to see their enemy, they retreat, hoping to draw the Umbarans out into the open. With support from the rest of the 501st, the clones are able to repel the ambush. Krell is disgusted with the clone troopers' retreat, and exchanges in a heated conversation with Rex.
Incoming!
They don't have long to argue, as the Umbarans launch another, stronger attack. With the 501st unable to aid in the siege, the main assault force cannot break into the city. General Kenobi eventually receives intel that the capital is supported by an airbase to the west, which is sending supplies to the city. Kenobi orders Krell and the 501st to take this airbase and cut off the capital's support. While the main assault rages on, the 501st comes to within view of the airbase. It is heavily guarded, containing at least 3 tank divisions, infantry, and artillery. Krell orders the 501st to advance through a central gorge, which is only wide enough for squads to move in single file. Rex voices his objections, but Krell overrules, who wants the airbase captured as quickly as possible. Clones nearly mutiny when given the order, as they are furious with Krell's high casualty campaign. Rex manages to keep order, and the 501st moves down the gorge. Led by ARC Trooper 5s, the clones of the forward platoon noticed strange behavior from the wildlife. It is only then they realize that the wildlife was scared out of the gorge by the IAT. At 54.78 meters long and 7.76 meters wide, the impeding assault tank was an unconventional, yet savage walker. The IAT looked like a giant mechanical centipede that was composed of 12 segments, each with a double-headed blaster cannon on its back. The tail had a pair of rear-facing blaster cannons, while the head had 4 independent blaster turrets. With a total of 18 blaster cannons, ray shielding, the ability to dig through the ground, and a deep mechanical screen, the IAT was a terrifying vehicle for the Philo First to overcome. The IATs tear into the clone troopers, crushing some underneath their many legs. The clones return fire, but their blasters have no effect. ARC Trooper 5 calls for the rear platoons to bring up rocket launchers. The clones are able to destroy one IAT with the rocket launchers, but are still forced back to a natural barrier, which provides a brief moment of safety. Here, Rex devises a plan to lure the remaining IATs over a line of thermal detonators. The plan is a success. The combined explosions destroy all the remaining IATs. As they push forward yet again, the clone troopers think they have seen all that the Umbarans can throw at them. They are wrong. In response to the destruction of the IATs, the Umbarans send in the MHC.
We've got a problem.
At 23 meters tall and 34.54 meters long, the mobile heavy cannon is the largest vehicle in the Umbaran arsenal. Also known as the Umbaran Juggernaut, the MHC featured 2 blaster cannons, floodlights, and heavy durasteel armor. What is most notable, however, is the massive cannon on its back. This cannon had 360 degrees range of motion and featured 2 firing modes. The first mode fired a giant ball of plasma, which had a wide area of effect. The second was a large arc caster, which fired a bolt of electricity that excelled at killing infantry. In addition to its size and firepower, the MHC's cannon also had a quick rate of fire, making it the most dangerous vehicle in the Umbaran military. 501st's weaponry has no effect on the MHCs. Not even their rocket launchers can punch through the thick armor.
Control of a command post. They're losing
The clones need heavier firepower. Lacking heavy vehicles and unable to call in air support, the clone troopers improvise. Rex sends 2 troopers, Fives and Hardcase, to sneak into the airbase, steal 2 vehicles, and return to destroy the MHCs. Hardcase and Fives successfully sneak into the airbase and set sight on their target, the Zenu S-33 Starfighter. Although it had a very odd design, the Zenu S-33 Umbara Starfighter proved itself to be a capable warship. At 10.38 meters long and 12.47 meters wide, the Zenu S did not use a cockpit. Instead, it used a detachable, ray-shielded command chair that would sit on the ground when not in use. The Zenu S was armed with a single chin-mounted blaster cannon and 2 electromagnetic pulse missile launchers, similar to those on the Umbara hover tank. While difficult for an untrained pilot to fly, the Zenu S was still a dangerous fighter and proved to be a problem for many clone pilots. As the 501st holds its ground, Fives and Hardcase are able to steal a pair of fighters. They destroy most of the remaining Umbaran vehicles in the process. Fives and Hardcase fly in behind the MHCs and open fire. Although their flying is haphazard at best, they are able to destroy the MHCs. With the MHCs eliminated, the 501st begins their assault on the airbase. With all of their vehicles destroyed, the Umbarans cannot hold the airbase and flee into the forest. Those who remain are captured or killed. With the airbase firmly under their control, the 501st believes that the assault on the capital is making progress. The opposite is true. The 3 clone battalions are now losing ground due to long-range missiles fired from the capital. In the absence of the airbase, the city defenses are being supplied by a CIS supply ship in orbit. With this knowledge, Krell orders the 501st on another 12-hour march to aid Kenobi. Rex objects, but is again overruled. After briefing his troops, Rex receives word from Fives that he has broken the Umbaran Zenu S-33 code and can now use the captured starfighters to infiltrate and destroy the supply ship. Rex brings his plan to Krell, who immediately shoots it down. Regardless, Clone Troopers Fives, Hardcase, and Jesse launch the Umbaran fighters. Like the ground forces, the Republican CIS fleets are locked in a stalemate. The Republic fleet saw initial success in breaking through the blockade, but failed to make any progress afterwards. Although they were called hours ago, reinforcements have not arrived to aid the three miniatures. Despite the ensuing chaos, the three clone troopers manage to infiltrate the supply ship. Hardcase sacrifices his life to destroy the reactor, while Fives and Jesse escape. The resulting explosion causes debris to fly everywhere, damaging many nearby CIS warships. With the capital no longer being supplied, the three battalions renew their siege and begin breaking the Umbaran's hold. Upon their return, a livid General Krell orders the court-martial and then execution of Fives and Jesse for disobeying orders. Fives and Jesse are spared death when the execution squad intentionally misses their shots. Outraged yet again, Krell orders Rex to the command center and begins to scold him. He's interrupted by a transmission from a scout, who relays that the Umbarans have disguised themselves with weapons and armor from dead clone troopers. Krell then orders the 501st to launch a preemptive strike on the imposters. Rex takes a platoon and makes contact with the fake clones.
I'm taking too much fire!
During the firefight, Rex discovers that the imposters were in fact real clones from the 212. Shocked by the revelation, Rex moves quickly and ends the firefight. With the fighting over, the clones find that Krell pitted the 501st and the 212th against each other intentionally. Enraged by Krell's treason, Rex leads the 501st and the 212th in a mutiny. They corner Krell and order him to surrender. He refuses and attacks the clone troopers. Eventually, the clones are able to capture the Jedi, but Krell kills many of them. In his cell, Krell reveals that from the very beginning, he's been sabotaging the campaign in order to gain favor from Count Dooku and become his apprentice. As he is a danger to the entire campaign, Rex has Krell executed for treason. While the 501st was capturing Krell, the capital defenses finally break. A few Umbarans escape into the forest, but they are quickly tracked down and eliminated. In orbit, the CIS fleet learns of the capital's fall and retreats, officially ending the battle. With Umbara now firmly in the hands of the Republic, the casualties of both sides can be assessed. All of the CIS and Umbaran ground forces are captured or destroyed. Many CIS fighters and ships were also destroyed in orbit. The Republic attack force lost thousands of clone troopers and hundreds of vehicles. The news of Krell's treason spreads like wildfire across the Republic. Many clones, civilians, and politicians question the Jedi's role as military leaders in the conflict. Some question the war altogether. With Umbara captured, the Republic can now reopen trade along the Great Sheep and relieve the Wookiee homeworld.
Reinforcements are being depleted.
But as the war approaches its final year, the CIS and Republic continue to launch devastating assaults on each other. And it will be in this year that the fate of the galaxy is changed forever.